All right, so here we go with episode 2 of backtesting sessions. We're gathering a year's worth of data on NQ futures. And the reason why I picked backtesting 2025 again already is I remember this year very well. And so I can compare the data I collected in real-time live trading and can compare it to backtesting and learn. So we're starting off with, on this episode, we'll do the first 2 weeks of June 2025. Just to kind of recap, we're looking at May was a green month plus, what's that? 2.3K is what it says. So that's plus 10R. And then April was 2.2R. Or 2.2K, excuse me. So that was another 10R. And then March was a negative 3R and February was a negative 2R. So rough start to it. The first couple months was just tough and beat me up, but then figured out what was going on and turned it around for the last 2 months. April and May just killed it. So the account's positive 13.5R. You can see the P&L curve is pushing up nicely. So let's get started with June 2025. And I'm going to switch over here to the charts, and I'm going to hide my face so we can have an easier time seeing the charts, and let's go. All right, so let's dive in here. We're on the weekly time frame, and actually, before we do that, let's check the calendar for what do we got? The 1st of June. Let's see here. So we have non-farm on Friday, unemployment claims. So that does tell us a little bit about the week ahead. We have red folders Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 10. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be our higher probability trade days. Thursday is likely a no trade day. And then Friday is after non-farm. So we'll let that drop now. So let's dive in here. Obviously, we are bullish here on the weekly, coming into a fair value gap right there. So we took some liquidity. Overextended. There's a volume imbalance down in here for value gap. So I'm just getting like the idea. I'm not going to mark it all up. It takes way too long. Weekly's bullish. Obviously, the daily time frame, we are still making higher highs. We've retraced into a possible zone of resistance with a lot of liquidity below. So, you know, the daily is bullish. We haven't had any change in state of delivery yet. And this did confirm a C2 candle for bearish delivery, but it could have just wanted to retrace down into this zone right in here. Let's look at the all three charts, the AES, YM all at the same time. Ooh, it doesn't like it. My computer is being a little slow. So looking for any bullish SMTs. Kind of hard to see when they're that small. So we do have this fair value gap on YM being bearish fair value gap and unconfirmed, but we do have an SMT here for the previous day. All right, so the 4-hour chart. So liquidity sweep after taking these equal highs. Still overall bullish order flow. And then obviously the 1 hour we did have a change in state of delivery. We're doing a bearish retracement, so I wouldn't presume this to be a reversal yet. I would still be more in line with bullish delivery at this point. That said, daily fair value gap, like if there's a time for a retracement, it is right here. So I'm going to give myself on the daily and the weekly more of a neutral bias because it could roll over a bit. 1 hour, 4 hour, I'm going to call it more bullish. All right, so we're on the 15 minute. Pink is the Asia session. This is the 12 a.m. open right there, or should be right there. The indicator doesn't perfectly draw it. Purple is London session. So here on the 15-minute, we came down, liquidity sweep, left all of this internal range unmitigated. So, all right, so at the beginning of the week, I just want to get a general look at what we're doing. I go a lot quicker in back testing. I don't mark out very much in back testing, whereas if I was live trading, I would mark out a ton more. It just takes way too long in back testing. So, and it doesn't seem to really affect my results negatively, so I don't worry about it. So we're going to mark out 930. That's an important volatility injection in the market. We're going to mark out 10. We have a red folder, which was ISM, manufacturing, PMI. So not going to be a huge mover. And the other thing that I want to see is 12 a.m. So what I kind of do in my back testing now is, and I haven't done it this way until this whole year-long back testing session, but I'm just finding it's taking so much time that I kind of have to feel like I do it this way. Otherwise, it's just so slow. But what I basically do is I'll just fast forward to 9:30, and knowing I have a bullish narrative, I kind of look for bullish setups. And once I see a setup, then I zoom out and I look at the levels and see if this is anything I'm interested in. So it's kind of the backwards way. Obviously, in real time, I would have the levels I would be interested in, and I would be looking at those levels to find my model. But I do it this way because it's quicker. All right, so 9:30 we see drives to buy side. Still pushing up. Like, for example, I could have marked out some, bullish 1 hour levels down in here. I was hoping it would come down for a long, and that would have just been a waste of time. So, however, here we are, we're at 940, and I do see an inversion. So now that I see the inversion, I am interested in backing out a little bit. We've taken a bunch of 1 hour liquidity, but there's no 1 hour gap. Here is a 4 hour fair value gap right there. We do have that 4 hour fair value gap. I'm going to go to the 15-minute. And boy, this is really dragging on me right now. Looking for SMTs. So not a confirmed SMT yet, because this 15-minute candle hasn't closed. All right, so that candle closed 941 outside of the macro. There is a tailless candle. I'm not interested in a short. Looks like it would have played out though. Would have broken my rules. Well, I could have fudged it had I been confident enough in it. Because I can allow myself to take a trade a minute or two outside of the macro. But we have this red folder here anyways. Coming right up. Next candle. All right, red folder pushes price down, so that was probably the manipulation. And now this red folder is going to be causing the distribution, would be my guess. Well, so it closed above. We have a tailless candle. We do have a gap on both sides. I don't think that this is, while I'm interested in longs, so the 1 hour did close above. Just kind of not interested in a long right here. There's not a clear higher time frame level that I like, especially with this solid rejection here. I mean, it did close bullish C1, C2, C3. And 2 a.m. did take this tailless candle, so 12 a.m. Let's zoom out a little bit. So the daily's in a consolidation here. I don't really care for that a ton. So it took the liquidity, came down into this fair value gap right in here. This candle already did the damage, did the grab for the sell side. So that's why I'm not so confident this is going to be bullish in this candle here. So I'm going to skip the long. I don't trust it. So the long's just consolidating upwards, no fun. Looks like it would have. So here it closed above. I probably would have done there. So 3R would be basically right back up to the fair value gap. So here I would have gone break even on the trade if I were in, and I didn't obviously take it. I just don't have a good feel on the higher time frame which way it really wants to go. And it's Monday, so we'll let kind of Monday show us what the week wants to do. And I'll fast forward here till 11 o'clock. Apparently I need to restart my browser. These candles are printing so slow. So I'll do that here when I'm done with this session. Holy moly. So it's consolidating and my candles are moving slow. Which we pretty much get the idea. I don't think in the next 20 minutes I'm going to get a trade set up. So even in this one, I still would have just be stuck in this trade. All right, so I'm just going to pause that there. Okay, let's give that a try. Hopefully it responds better. So we're on Monday, June 2nd, no trades. So at this point, it's 12:20. We can just skip to the start of the next session and mark things out. I want to go to the 15-minute chart. And we'll mark the 12 a.m. open. And then today there is a 10 a.m. new red folder jolts. Nothing crazy, but got to pay attention to it. All right, so let's just fast forward to 9:30. Come on, stop. Cool. So it's just going forward without me. All right, so the 1 hour, so we're still delivering. So the yesterday, Monday, was bearish delivery into some form of internal range probably. Yeah, well, no 4 hour for value gap. So Monday did close bullishly. So I'm assuming this was the internal sweep. I'm assuming bullish continuation. So I'm interested more so in longs, I think, to previous day high. I don't have any, I have gaps to short. I don't have any gaps to long from. Oh, I do down here. So let's see. I'd be more interested in a long potentially. All right, 10 a.m. red folder. Just kind of this one-sided delivery at the moment. All right, so here is an inversion. It's making shorts look tempting, which is against my narrative and bias. Because I would expect a reaction from this gap. We are there. So here's the 10 a.m. candle opens up, and we have all this inefficiency below. 1 hour has inefficiency below. You can see this space here and there too. 12 a.m.'s below. So currently forming an SMT, it's not confirmed. So here we do have a 15-minute SMT. The indices are all in sync. It looks like YM is pushing down a little, pushing down first. So I mean, we have all the criteria met, other than it's against order flow. But sometimes narrative is opposite of order flow. I do tend to like to stay aligned with order flow. So I'm going to let it go. I'm looking for longs. So I would have been stopped out if I would have taken that short. So this 1015 created an inversion. There's nothing here, no clear continuation for me. Maybe there's a 5-minute gap. There's a 5-minute volume imbalance. It's just kind of grinding up. So I'm gonna keep clicking. Price is just consolidating sideways. Come on. Browser is still slow after rebooting it. $11.30, still nothing here. So no, probably going to be a no trade day again. So looking back, was this a valid trade for me that I missed? It doesn't look like it. No. You know, the trade happened at 5 a.m. in London, 4 a.m. in London. Maybe it happened on YM. It did. So YM tapped into this this 1 hour gap, and sometimes that gets me, especially like when I don't have multiple screens and I'm not paying attention on all time frames to all assets. So YM did the tap into the fair value gap. I typically would have traded NQ, so maybe just a note to myself to, if I'm looking at something and I'm not seeing it on NQ, like this long right there, I should have looked at YM. That probably would have given me some confidence in something. So, all right. So another day, no trade. So we'll go to go to the start of the New York's. Oops. Go to start a New York session. Wednesday the 4th. Let's see, here we have 10 a.m. ISM PMI. Oh, and this almost looks like it, just looking at this, I wonder if 850 is making the model. All right, so let's so the 1 hour took this, and I'm intentionally wanting to look at this before 9:30. So it took this equal devil's mark right there. And there's a volume imbalance right there. No 4-hour level. So oh, well, that makes sense. I was not even on, I was on YM, marking up YM. So YM does have this gap below. There we go, NQ. Still pushing bullish, 4-hour gap. I'd love to see, so what do we got? The 2 a.m. candle didn't really do much of a stop hunt. I'd love to see price come down into here for a long. Balance out some of this inefficiency in this between this candle and this candle. Come on. All right, so now that we're on the right chart, looks a little, I mean, we do have the model here. I don't like it though. Okay, 9:30 open. And we just have one-sided delivery at this point in time. And 9:43, close below, so there's an inversion after taking a ton of liquidity. I feel like this keeps happening this week where 9:30 is creating a short even though it's bullish. So we took 1 hour liquidity. 1 hour took liquidity this way. I don't think I can short this. So ES, YM, NQ, all of them looking about the same. MES, YM on the 1 hour. I mean, it might run, it might give 3R. I can't short that though. I also can't long it. So red folder coming up here at 10, gaps down, takes sell side, pushing up. Tapped into 12 a.m. All right, now we're talking. All right, so did that come down into my gap? It did not. All All right, so here on the 1 hour. Nope. Not interested in the long. Here at least. Although that would be the pattern. It keeps coming down into like super shallow 15-minute liquidity pools and continuing without me, but that's not my model. All right, cool. So whole lot of nothing again. This is the third day in a row. Sideways, sideways. All right, so it's not moving. It's not gonna do nothing. So where did I go wrong today? So the short did play out. But it wasn't anything I would have been that confident in. Had it been the first stab into this 4 hour or this 1 hour gap, I think I would have been more confident in a short against order flow. But I'm okay with that. You know, I probably only trade half or less of the days in the month, so 3 in a row of no trades is not that untypical. And it's also what did we say it was today? This week it was non-farm, so it's a week I tend to be more conservative anyways. So yeah, we're on, what does that make this, Wednesday the 4th, no trades. All right, then let's go check out the calendar. It's Thursday, unemployment claims before non-farm, so expecting lower probability more than anything. All right, so here is 8:30, and we had the unemployment claims high red folder right there. So here's 9:30. We don't have a red folder after the 8:30 red folder. So all right, so cool. So let's see, what do we got? Let's zoom out a little bit. So daily is still pushing bullish. Been a weird week. My notes have said we kind of get these reversals at 9:30 against bias that play out, and then I don't get a model for a long after that. So checking out the 4 hour. So noteworthy here is the 4 hour has taken external liquidity and super overextended. So internal to external. I would imagine after taking external, let's see, but possibly going down for internal. Currently bullish SMT is forming. So overall bullish on the 1 hour. Let's go take a look. So bullish on the 1 hour, however, it's tapped into external range, meaning here at this point, I could expect it to come down and take out some of these lows. 4 hour, still bullish, but same thing right there. So 15-minute real quick. So London took Asia's low and high, indicating a possible seek and destroy day. already New York has taken London's low and London's high. So we do have the possibility for seek and destroy today. Let's note I'm trying to find it, but the lines are different than I have them set in my trading view. So I was looking for news. Do I have news? Yeah, I don't have news. So this is news high, news low. And we have midnight. Where's midnight? There we go. So we're on top of midnight. So let's fast forward to 9:30. Okay, 9:30. So got some trend line liquidity below. I don't see anything here quite yet. All right, there's a sweep. So here I'm contemplating this 1 hour candle. This 8 a.m. took the high and the low. Took more buy side than sell side, but there is a 1 hour volume imbalance and fair value gap that is supporting price. Not a BPR, fair value gap. So here on the 15-minute, this hasn't closed yet, so I don't want to quite use that. So this does seem to be supporting price. It's taken news low. We are forming SMT, YM. So we have some equal highs up in here. We have news high. So we have SMT. I don't like it a ton when they keep reusing a fair value gap. I said that earlier. I want to look at so here on YM, it's tapped into this 1 hour fair value gap. ES tapped into the same 1 hour fair value gap. This is just not clean price action. So, I mean, looking back to Monday from this week, Monday and Tuesday ran, and since Tuesday at 10, price has just been accumulating. So there's the possibility this long plays out. This is just ugly. So I'd have been stopped out if I would have taken it. thought that's going through my mind right now is I actually just kind of want to skip today, because I'm going to get enticed potentially by a setup, and I'm going to be sitting here wavering on it going, well, it's low quality, or it's a low probability day. Like here's an inversion, tons of liquidity below it. I'm not liking it. And there it would have been stopped out. Here is a, yeah. So this is actually turning out to be kind of a seek and destroy kind of day, which I had thought would be the case. Lows taken, highs taken, lows taken. Now we're going for the highs. So I'm just going to skip to the next day. I do want to examine this real quick. Actually, got to ask, was there anything I missed? Possibly there's a setup right in here where maybe YM or ES could have dug down into something and go to the 1 hour. So YM went to this tailless candle through this fair value gap right there. Came down into discount where we'd expect some kind of response. Same thing with ES. Came down into this fair value gap and responded, while NQ didn't. And that keeps happening this week. And 1038, so that's outside of macro. 1040, it didn't close above until this candlestick here, so that would have been no trade. So there was no setup for me on this trade day. All right, so let's go. Tomorrow is we'll go to the next session. We had NFP at 8:30 right there. So let's kind of get some context. And just a sec. Okay, just got a weird phone call. That threw me for a loop. All right, so where are we at? We've got fine 9:30 first off. We have no news. We have this news low. We have this news high is taken. And put those into a folder so they're easy to hide. All right, so the 12 a.m. way below. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. Go back on the daily chart. That is ugly. So on the daily, there's no tail on this current day's candle. There's this volume imbalance that's just kind of consolidating up into this fair value gap. So tapping into the 50% of the previous day's candle, that's about where we'd want to see a response from for a bearish delivery. So the 4 hour did flip this gap after taking internal, so that's bullish. One hour is currently delivering bullish, possibly to this inefficiency right up in here. So 1 hour is bullish. And I want to go back to the 1 hour real quick because looks like, there we go. So Thursday PM, after some seek and destroy, the afternoon session came down into discount, and overnight, so there's 4 o'clock and then 6 o'clock provided the reversal. So the 1 hour finally cleaned up. It looks like on the lower time frames it wants short, which goes against wanting a long to go with order flow. But we shall see. All right, so kind of unclear, just a floating, prices just floating upwards. So possibly a continuation, 5-minute gap. I mean, I would take something if it came down into this 15-minute gap. Why do I have a feeling that it's going to be a no trade day? So long wouldn't have been the answer anyway, so I was right about that. Kind of creating some equal lows right down in here. Equal lows swept. This swing's being swept. There's a fair value gap right here. So there's a possibility for a continuation setup if it closes right there. 1035 out. Oh, it's inside of macro, but I don't think it tapped into that 15-minute gap, did it? Dang. It took this liquidity, tapped into this 5-minute. And here it's funny, I'm noticing myself like, man, I haven't taken a trade this entire week in this backtesting session. And I almost feel like I'm going to force this to be a trade. So we're kind of forming some SMT here. I say kinda because it's on the 1 minute. 15 minutes not closed on this other candle, this current candle. YM did come down into this gap though. ES came down into that gap. So here's its unconfirmed 15-minute SMT. I would like to have seen ES form the model right there too, if it would have confirmed. So I'm going to skip it. It's just not A+ to me. Okay, so what would have happened? I would have marketed in on this candle. Probably would have had my stop below this one. And it would have delivered 3R. So that makes 3 not perfect setups this week. And then it reversed. It took that liquidity up in here, these equal highs, reversed, and came for sell side, which is what I was afraid of. I didn't know how far it would go before it started to come down into here. So I missed that setup. It was not A+, mostly because it didn't tap into at least a 15-minute gap for me. I know some people do like 5-minute gaps. I don't, which makes this probably the most boring backtesting week I've done. So all right, so there's 12 o'clock. So yeah, let's take a look and let's review this first week. So yeah, the first week of June, done. No trades, which is, I don't know, somewhat unexpected. Like if we looked at other months, obviously I don't trade sometimes. I actually skipped these weeks intentionally. So I typically at least get in a couple trades a week. So that's really weird with June not having any trades. So I like to look and review that and see what I can find out. And so I keep a little kind of simple calendar here. You know, so on Monday, there were no trades that I just didn't trust. There was a short, but it was against my bias and I didn't want to take it. Tuesday, no trades, didn't trust it. There was a long, but it didn't tap into a level that I was interested in. YM did. I kind of don't have a rule for that to say how that overrides if NQ doesn't tap into the level. And then same thing Wednesday, no trades that I trusted. And there was that short that I didn't take because it was just against my bias. And then Thursday, there just wasn't a model. And ultimately Friday, NFP, there was no model. There was a 935 long that we saw. It tapped into a 5-minute fair value gap, but that's not my rules. I need a 15-minute gap. So just an overall theme for this week, NQ wasn't retracing into higher time frame levels for longs, whereas ES and YM were. There were several shorts that played out against order flow, and the 1 hour is consolidating half the week. So really the theme for the week was it just wasn't my week. Now, mistakes, no. In terms of mistakes, there were no mistakes. Because I don't typically like to take trades against order flow. I sometimes will, but. So yeah, there's that week, which is super boring. Well, I'm sorry if that was a little dry. Hopefully we get some more action rolling into this upcoming week here. All right, cool. I guess with that boring week aside, let's dive into the second week, starting Monday, June 9th. Let's look at the news for the week. No news Monday, Tuesday, so maybe more one-sided delivery possible. CPI and PPI, unemployment claims, and consumer sentiment. Okay, cool. So real quick, I just want to look up something. Don't have it open. There's all these little nuances to the news events, and I just want to look up CPI. So CPI can be massive moves. Monday before is low probability. Expect perfect if trading. Possibly Monday and especially Tuesday before can be consolidation, lower probability, no trade days. Hydra does not trade the day before. ICT considers CPI a gambling day. So on top of no trades for this week, it looks like I got to be pretty conservative until Thursday, basically. So let's see here. Anything else? Yeah, so we just want to be cautious before the CPI release on Wednesday, and then after that should be pretty good to go. So All right, let's zoom out here. What do we got going on here? So we kind of have this ugly daily bullish consolidation. Bullish, ugly, tailless candle, volume imbalance. It's going internal to external. Looking here on the weekly, you know, it's pushing for all-time highs. So my guess is, at least at this point, since the last couple weeks have closed above this candle, closed above this inversion gap here, we're coming for all-time highs before we retrace back in and rebalance out this range here. So that's my assumption. So I'm still remaining bullish, bullish on the daily. So 4 hour is still bullish. You know, we're making higher lows, right? We keep taking out external range and retracing to, so here we take out, where's my arrow key? So here we created a high, took out some internal range, took out this high with a new high, took out some internal liquidity, formed a low, took out this high, formed a retracement. So we have bearish order flow. Bullish PD arrays are being respected. By that, I mean fair value gaps. I use fair value gaps to gauge order flow. These guys right there. So looking at this Friday, 2 o'clock, the 1800 candle looks like it did the reversal. So at this point, I'm kind of not, I'm expecting some kind of retracement and continuation. 1 hour, similar kind of thing. 1 hour we can see is tapped into this fair value gap right here. So it would make sense. Looks like can kind of, just a sec here. I want to find out where I'm at. I might have not gone forward a session. Yeah, Friday at 12. So I do need to, I didn't move it forward to a different session. So go to the next session, which means probably something more or less similar, but let's check it. Yeah, so the daily didn't change much. We have a compression candle on this new day. Closed above, 4 hour. So here we have, I want to see, I like to look at the 2 a.m. candle, the 2 a.m. 4 hour candle. I want to see, did it do a stop hunt? And it did not, but the 22 o'clock candle did into this fair value gap. So I'm assuming that's going to be low of the day. And here we're working above this inversion on the 4 hour right here. So that'll be an inversion if this candle closes above it. And like I said, we still have bullish order flow. 1 hour is looking a little ugly, little consolidation. We can see price is just somewhat in this kind of range. So let's go down to the 15-minute. I did want to look at YM and ES real quick too. So we do have bullish SMT down at these lows. That also helps me feel like this is going to be the low of the day. Cool. Here is 12 a.m. open, 9:30. And then what do we say? No news. So on days with no news, I expect more one-sided delivery. What's that look like? As opposed to price having a reversal around 9:30 kind of thing like that, I'm just expecting whatever direction is trending to continue to trend. And at 9:30, it could do a little Judas swing, a liquidity grab, and then continue on. So that's kind of what I'm expecting on a no news day. Not guaranteed, but just a little clue. All right, so coming into 9:30 here, we're just kind of accumulating, which is nice. So kind of stacking up some relative equal highs and relatively equal lows. I like it when it does this. It becomes, for me at least, a little easier to see what 9:30 wants to do when I got pretty clear equal highs and lows. All right, so we got 9:30 candle. So it took out some of this liquidity to sell side, closed above this. I don't like, this is ugly. I'm looking for longs. I'd like to see it come down. Oh, look at that. Okay, so see how we left all these equal highs up there? Not stoked on that. That didn't close above technically. And really, so what I would be looking for, oh, there's no fair value gap there. There's a volume imbalance, so nothing to do. All right, so here we have an inversion and a breaker. So let's scope this out. The 1 hour came down, swept a bunch of liquidity. There's no fair value gap. I want to see it come down into here for my long. And maybe this is where I'm going to actually do it this way. It just runs a little bit better on my computer when I'm recording. It doesn't, has a little bit of lag to it. So here's where ES tapped into that fair value gap. And NQ didn't. Or there's a gap that YM, what did I say? YM tapped into. So here on the 15-minute, here's a fair value gap that it tapped into, took a bunch of liquidity. It's possible that there's SMT. Let's take a look. Aside from PD array SMT, so we have, so we do currently have SMT forming, not confirmed because this 15-minute candle is not closed. What's the time on this? This is 39:40, so it's 1 minute outside of my macro. Shoot. I know nothing's going to be perfect all the time, but I'm definitely feeling a little bit like I am not getting any trades in, which makes me feel a little more like I want to take it. Looks like, so ES and YM look like they'll have nice setups. YM did confirm. No, it didn't. No close over. Oh, this is tough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having a tough time deciding on this one because it's not a A+ setup, but I think it's gonna rock it. And I keep seeing NQ do that. You know, we keep seeing NQ do super shallow retracements and ES, YM do the deeper retracements. But I also know it's CPI week. Well, the 1 hour is kind of consolidating. Like, this is not great price action. The 1 hour does have this inversion. I don't typically look back that far. So there is that. And then we have these relative equal lows right here. So we came up to internal range. We're going to, gosh, these equal lows right there are spooking me out. See these? I would really like it to come back down into here to long it. Same thing with ES. Yeah, so I'm going to skip this one. It's really hard to skip it. Look at that. So it did what I was expecting. It just wasn't, I feel like that's what I keep saying. Well, maybe not quite. Let's check this out. Let's go to a long position. I would have marketed on this candle. I would have been break even on this trade. So I would have done something like this probably. Yeah, targeting 3R. I would have gone break even on this Well, hard to say because my rule now is different. So price hasn't yet left the entry. But still it would be 3R. Let's say I still was in the trade. I would have gone break even right now. But we can see price isn't really wanting to do it. There's definitely some high resistance here, both to sell side and to buy side. So it's not ideal price action. I'm not too upset about missing this. So here that would have been a winner. What's that? I think 3 or 4 tape read winners in a row, as I'm just not feeling confident with the way price is moving. So this is probably more that, like I was saying, that one stage delivery. I wanted to see a little more of a dig into something. But we got that one stage delivery I was talking about. See how we're following the trend? It's just really hard for me to long that without more basically enough. I wanted a 15-minute fair value gap to see. Well, there was. No, there wasn't. There was. Did I miss that? I don't know. The whole thing just seemed a little sketch. Let's check that out. So yeah, it did. There was a gap there. So right on the narrative, it just didn't look great. So here might be a retracement to wipe out some of the morning bulls that are in profit. Oh, come on, stop. It won't stop. I wanted to look at that. Come on. So that did tap into the 15-minute fair value gap for continuation. So we have SMT, we have a fair value gap. I don't really like to do this because it's like partially cheating, but it didn't stop. You know, this is the candle that I would have marketed in on. At 11:02, that would have closed above. So we have a 15-minute fair value gap. Although this high is taken. Is this going to be at another trade? I'm not excited about. Okay, so on the 1 hour, we took this liquidity up here. I'm gonna four-hour has no tail. Volume imbalance took this liquidity. So this is the 10 a.m. candle. 6 a.m., 10 a.m. So here's the current 1 hour candle, 11 o'clock, forming a gap below, tailless candle. Tons of liquidity below, 12 a.m. Let's look at ES is relatively in sync, YM doing the opposite, but I think it's going to catch up. So that doesn't look right. Here we go, NQ. I'm not going to lie, like I don't want to take this. It feels late in the session. But I keep tape reading and I keep not taking trades. So let's do this. Let's go in with low risk. Although I guess that was one of my rules is I don't want to do that. It's got to be good enough to take with full risk. So we'll do it. We have so this is an IFVG continuation on a 15-minute fair value gap. This is we have high probability targets. This equals, and I think there's session up there. All-time highs. We have SMT. We have volume imbalance. So really, this is pretty nice setup. We have a macro, cons. Not deep. Retrace. And then close to lunch. So we shall see. And then let's draw the inversion. Just want to make sure I'm placing my stop loss where I want it. That sounds good. A little bit below the inversion. So I don't know. I'm going to probably lose this trade because I've tape read 3 in a row correctly. And so just statistically, this is likely to be a loss. So price is moving away from my entry. It's past 1R. It's left my entry zone, so I go break even. And yeah, 3R. It's either 3R or break even. Break even it is. So this is kind of why I was hesitant to take it. The retracement into the morning liquidity wasn't that deep. So this is where I'd really like to see the long from. But what I keep seeing with NQ is it just doesn't, it hasn't been digging deep in this price action. And so at this point, I'd love to see if YM is sinking back up. So here's a breaker with kind of a super tiny volume imbalance, fair value gap. ES is sideways. So here YM is forming a low, starting to consolidate, but that's kind of what I wanted to see on YM was, are they going to sync up? So really I'm looking at this, this gap here. So that closed above. Which balanced out this 1 hour gap that was starting to form this inefficiency. There's still this tailless candle, and what bugs me out the most is this 10 a.m. candle. It took the liquidity. So really, I feel like it wants to come back down, take this tailless candle, take some of this, and then run up and come down in here, balance this out, and then run up for this high. Like that's the narrative that my mind is thinking. Making me a little sketched out for a long, especially at this time of the day. 4 hour tailless candle, 4 hour took that liquidity. Previous day high has been taken. Also, this is CPI week. So how about we tape read another winner? All right, so it would have been a loser anyway, so that's cool. We'll move on to the next day. Here we are. Reload this and it should show a break-even trade for today. June. One break-even trade. All right, yeehaw. So let's keep going. Tuesday the 10th, day before CPI. There was no news. So similar to this, probably expecting more so one-sided delivery. So let's zoom out here. So what we can see here is that, where are we at? 22 o'clock, 18, 22 o'clock, so 18 o'clock. Okay, so overnight took that high. Here is 6 a.m. So that tailless 4 hour candle that was bugging me out didn't end up being mitigated until the 22 o'clock candle, which came down, stabbed into some of these lows, didn't fully go into this gap. Same with ES, didn't come into that gap. So YM, bullish SMT, or excuse me, bearish SMT I'm seeing. Between these highs right here. So zoom out a little bit. So on the daily, here's this fair value gap, keep slamming into it. At this point, if it was going to reject, I feel like it would have rejected. And so I'm leaning a little more bullish. And as we can see, this price action, it's really changing from, you know, this kind of pattern to more of like this. And it's just getting more extreme, right? And so usually when that happens, you kind of just go with the flow. So let's go back to the 4 hour real quick. 4 hour is still bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. 1 hour technically is still bullish. It did make a change in state of delivery here. We have all these equal lows. That's just tripping me out, man. BPR and an inversion here. So yeah, it'll be interesting on this. And so this is the day before CPI. It's the lowest probability day of the week. So here's 12 a.m. 12 a.m. is above us. That means I'm likely more interested in longs. There's 9:30. Let's see what happens. NQ keeps messing with me. The trades present themselves. They're not perfect, and they just rip without me. They don't do a shallow retracement. So I'm just kind of keeping that in mind. I notice I want to try to adapt to those changes in market conditions. However, I feel like one of the things I struggle with is adapting quick enough. So I've seen it enough now that I think I've mentioned it to you at least 5 times. But I still haven't. Stop. I pressed too many buttons. There we go. But I haven't quite adapted yet. So I'm okay with seeing sell side delivery. I just want to see something like nice, like, okay, cool. So here's an inversion. Is that nice? It's not really nice. It's kind of in a consolidation. Tapped into a 1 hour fair value gap that already was used. 4 hours just kind of ugly. Um, 1 hour's tapping into this fair value gap. Don't know why it's always choosing purple. I feel like if there's any one day I should skip, it should be this day. This is not clean enough for me to take it. I just can't. But it'll probably rock it without me. See these relative equal highs? 15-minute gap, bullish order flow. No bullish SMT though. So even if I wanted a long, that's not true. There's 15-minute consecutive candle forming, but not confirmed. Because here's the 9:30 candle and it hasn't closed yet. It has not come to consequent encroachment of that gap. It has on ES though. I'm going to be the super boring person and I'm going to skip it. as it rips without me. So what would have happened? I would have marketed it on that candle. I would have got 3R. Yep. That's okay. It's looking a little like it wants to seek and destroy. So closed above this inversion, but it already was a dicey continuation model, so I'm not interested. Swept this high, came back down super deep. Just sideways. I'm not even interested in this day. So one sketchy long. The reason why I didn't take it is these candles were looking like seek and destroy. When I start seeing this kind of like expanding wedge kind of thing, like I'm thinking seek and destroy. So it was a low probability trade, but it played out. And those are tough. I feel like you look at those and you're like, I should have taken it, but how many of these low probability trades walk on you? I don't know. Apparently, I keep saying that the last couple weeks in this session at least. So yeah, well, no trades on Tuesday. All right, so let's head over to CPI. Yeah, start a New York session. And there is CPI, and holy moly. So here was 830. So right there, and even pre-CPI, look how nasty that was. I thought that was 830 at first, but here's CPI. So yeah, we took previous day high. It's just wanting to just go parabolic to what are probably all-time highs. It just keeps taking liquidity. And this is where I just like get sketched out because there's so much trendline liquidity built up below here. So 4 hours obviously bullish, just sketchy bullish. 1 hour's bullish, sketchy bullish. Here's this inefficiency in this candle, so price can come all the way back down and tap into here and still be bullish. Let's look at the 15-minute. Okay. One thing I did want to look at real quick. Maybe they go with the 4 hour. So ES doing the similar thing. YM. Oh dang, YM took this high. And all-time highs up there. So no. All right, MNQ, go back to the 1 minute chart. So what we do have, we have news high was taken right there. News low is intact. I mean, this is tough because that look right there to me is bearish. News high taken, news low still intact, 12 a.m. below. So I'm guessing 930 should come down and then continue. That's what I would guess. Zoom in a little bit. Going sideways pre 930. right, 9:30. I like how it left all this liquidity up there. I want to see it tap that low. So nothing here. Kind of just, there we go. So here the 1 hour came back down all the way into this, filled in that inefficiency. 4 hour. So the 15-minute balanced this out, filled in this volume imbalance. This 945 candle is not confirmed. So here we'll look at the 5-minute chart. I need a faster computer, apparently. It doesn't mind when I record myself like in TradingView, but in TradeZella, it does mind. And that's just my computer. It's old. It's an old MacBook Pro running 4 screens and way too much stuff. So with this swing low, we do have SMT. Oh, it's picking up some background noise, isn't it? I adjusted my mic so that way it was a little more sensitive. It didn't have so much clipping on my voice. All right, so there's this 4-hour fair value gap. Daily. This just isn't clear to me. There's a 1-hour volume imbalance, isn't there? Yeah, there is. All right. I think I can do it with that 1-hour volume imbalance. So the next question is, I'm going to combine them to make this inversion. She's a big one. And looks like we do get the close above. I was thought about going in on this candle. It's pretty big. All right, so here we have an IFVG. So we have a 1-hour volume imbalance. We have I think it was a 15-minute fair value gap. We have an SMT. We're in the macro. We are time frame aligned with the 1, the 4, the daily. Cons is overextended and BSL was taken, but order flow is ridiculously, that's almost spelled something not cool or not appropriate, ridiculously bullish. So there's that. I mean, really, I could mark it in, I'm guessing. See, these candles are just gapping up. They're either going to keep doing that or they're going to do a nice deep retracement, one of the two. So I'll just target a little less. Well, no, that's against my rule. So I'll just keep it for 3R. And yeah, go for it. 3, 2. So 276, a little higher, but it's okay. All right, so let's see what happens. See, it gapped up. I was thinking about putting my entry right above this gap and I wouldn't have got filled. So we're gapping up, retesting. Oh, there I would have gotten a fill. Yep, so retesting. I want to see it move away now. Otherwise, I'm off sides. All right, so to me, I don't want to be in this anymore. It's creating equal lows right below while not moving. So I'm cool with breaking even on this trade. I don't know what's going to happen. It just doesn't want to move. None of these candles are looking like this distribution right here. So we had volatility to sell side, volatility to buy side, and then it just went back to whatever mode this algorithm is here, kind of similar to this kind of thing. So what I would do here, where's 2R? Because this is so big, around 2R, really these equal highs is kind of where I would want to tuck up my stop some. But typically I would say 2R is where I do that. See how it's just floating? I don't like that. So now we've taken all these equal highs. I really don't have a great place to tuck my stop. There's no significant swing. Price could come down. It could come down and take this low and then keep going to my TP. So like, cool, if I move it up here, I make 115 bucks, but I could get stopped out and miss out on 800. So I'll still keep it pretty far down. And it's not looking good. It's just loading up. And a few more of these swings, there comes a point in which if it comes that far, it's probably coming against you. So it's both. I don't want to tuck it up too close, but right there, see, right there. And it's moving. My mouse, my candles are still moving and I'm not even clicking. So that'll happen and I couldn't, like once I saw this candle, I wanted to stop and reevaluate. And it probably is doing exactly what I said. It's taking out all of this liquidity. And or it's just going sideways. So, all right, so one partial win, which this was an interesting one because I thought about using a much smaller stop loss and I would have got 3R because I didn't have faith that it was going to go all the way up. So that's it for, I guess, Wednesday on CPI. Partial win, or not really. Like, not really. Yeah, I was thinking about like doing something like this because if it was going to go through all these gaps, I was probably wrong anyways. So, but I didn't want to. My rule is this. I could have gotten away with that limit order. I typically don't like to see it wait for that many candles. And limit order still would have been no 3R on there. So, okay, boring week. Okay, so let's go to the next day, Thursday the 12th. What news do we have? PPI and unemployment claims at 8:30. So, all right, so here was PPI and unemployment claims. So on the daily, zooming out. So this daily candle it closed below this wick here, implying it could be a C2 reversal candle. This one comes down, takes this low, has a volume imbalance and no wick on the top, so that's a little bullish. Obviously, order flow is bullish. All these equal lows down in here. I keep talking about this fair value gap right here. It tapped it again. 2 a.m. candle. So 2 a.m. candle swept that. All these lows are just about, dang. Just about. Let's look at ES and YM. So ES took these lows and ran into that four-hour fair value gap. YM did the same. So there's bullish SMT down there. We can see probably. So these are relative equal lows. And here's the bullish SMT. 4-hour is starting to roll over a little bit. We do officially have a change in stated delivery on the 4-hour here. But I'm anticipating that to fail just due to the bullish order flow. I do want to see this here if this is... So this hasn't taken a significant high. Same on ES. Now YM, on the other hand, did. Took this high and it took this high. So we have a bearish SMT and a bullish SMT. Bullish order flow. I'm just anticipating bullishness to continue. So 1 hour, same thing, change in state of delivery for an internal retracement. I'm assuming, we're down to 50% of this range right here. So anywhere in here, I'm okay with longing. Going to the 15-minute, and let's see. Oh, I'm on YM. Oh, NQ's there. All right, so first off, London took Asia's high and low. That's a possible signature for seek and destroy today. The news already happened. So the news took a bunch of sell side, then went to buy side. So let's see what happens. Fast forward to 9:30. So it's creating some equal lows. Nothing to do here. It swept those lows, made a giant breaker. Nothing for me to do here. So just kind of floating upwards. Still haven't left the 9:30 opening range. Oh, there we go. There it did. I'm imagining there's nothing here for me. Well, it tapped into that 15-minute fair value gap. It already took that high though. And then it just blasted off. So there's nothing here for me. Like if this candle closed up right above this inversion, there was probably a trade for me, another continuation trade. So obviously for at least the session right on the bullish bias, just not giving anything for entries. And this is like when NQ gets in a mood, this is what I call it getting into a mood. It just doesn't want to retrace back for my style of entries. Now other people probably would because they use maybe like order blocks and stuff. I don't. I think I need to come up with something. But like here's this, order block that it tapped into, closed above, and then gave a long. So these are kind of continuation. I don't have a model for continuation like that. It has to be a stop hunt with an inversion. In this case, this would have been here's a stop hunt into a 15-minute gap. Here's an inversion, and it just didn't give me my model, my entry model. So all right, so here 11:17. So this is outside of macro. It hasn't taken any daily liquidity or 4 hours, so I wouldn't expect NQ to reverse here for more than just rebalancing out this gap in this 1 hour candle. So I'm not interested in shorting that. Kind of going into a lunchtime consolidation. So 12 o'clock, I'm done for the day. Could I have taken that short? Maybe. Wouldn't have got 3R. So really, there were really almost no trades. So this is a day of no trades. How boring is that? And they say trading is supposed to be boring, but man, you know it's boring when backtesting gets boring, right? Wow, brutal, brutally boring to click through all these candles. But I'm not excited about this price action, so I guess no trades today. But we still have one more day, Friday the 13th. Oh boy. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Now here's the thing, and sometimes it's worth perspective. This could have been a red week. This could have been a red week too. So I could be down 3R or something, and instead I'm up a half R. So that's some perspective too. And this will be the last day I'll test, and then start a new episode. All right, so where are we at? Let me guess, price is still just grinding up. Oh no, wow, finally. All right, all right. Something happened. Something finally happened. We're on the 4-hour time frame. I actually want to zoom out. So the daily is starting to roll over. It does have a tailless, a wickless candle at the top. Previous day low is taken. Equal lows here. But this candle is not closed. So I can't really consider any daily SMTs with this. So we do have this imbalance above on the 4-hour. Expect price to come back up. Now, is it bearish or is it bullish? This is where my bias would start to flip to a little bit neutral. The daily starting to roll over, the 4-hour rolling over with this change in multiple confirmed change in states of delivery. So I feel a little more bearish at this point. I don't like these this trend line liquidity, but I'm definitely flipping from bullish to neutral, or even slightly bearish depending on the time frame that we're looking at. So Friday we do have 10 a.m. news. So let's check out the 15-minute. Did Asia make the low of the day? Maybe. We can examine that in more detail. All right, so here's 12 a.m., 9:30, and 10 a.m. red folder. Okay. I do want to look at the 1-hour. I do believe, yeah, we have a bullish SMT down here. Yeah, because ES and YM I think both took this low. So yeah, there is bullish SMT, and why that's important is when Asia or London taps into a higher time frame PD array after distributing, forms an SMT. That can signify the potential for the low of the day. Also, we have a 15-minute breaker formed right there. Not that a 15-minute breaker tells a lot, but it does to me when it coincides with the 12 a.m. Opening price. So I'm a little flexible on today. Let's see what price delivers. All right. So there's 930. So 920 came down, did the stop hunt. 930 just rocketed. Nothing for me to do here. So formed an order block. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like I don't use order blocks. So, and if I did, maybe I'd take more trades. At some point, I'll backtest something. Because I do need something when price gets in this kind of expansive mood and it's not really providing retracements. Like, what do? I just sit on my hands, as you've seen. Which isn't a bad thing. Doesn't mean I'm not green on these months. This is not looking pretty. There's that red folder. Holy moly, I just totally missed this. Um, ES is looking pretty ugly. This is ugly. So I'm not interested. So that would have been potentially the move, but it's all ugly. I feel like I keep saying that. I know I keep saying that. It would have given me 3R. So I missed it. But I also wasn't like totally perfect, so I'm not feeling like I missed the most perfect trade. I probably would have taken it because there was this 15-minute fair value gap in this tailless candle. I think that would have persuaded me. So yeah. Let's call it a day, because wow. So here we are. Positive half an hour so far in this month. I don't even know if this is going to be worth posting. All right, then. So what do we learn? What do I learn from all of this? Ultimately, so let's look at this week. The Monday, I was break even and I was offsides on that trade anyway. There was a long that had shallow retracement. It was not perfect. Tuesday, ugly seek and destroy. I didn't take it. The ugly long would have won. I think this one was ugly too, and that's why I didn't take it. And then here on Wednesday, partial W. Nothing to really think about there too much. I wouldn't change my stop loss in reality. Thursday, no trades. There was no setups. And then on Friday, I just missed it. So I clicked forward too quick. And that was the trade that I should have taken. And like I said, I probably would have taken it, given what I'd seen, but I can't go back and take it. That's not right. So the themes really still shallow retraces, ugly longs win. Same as this week before. Several shorts played out against order flow. We had less consolidation. I think that, the other thing being just price was not clean. And then any mistakes I made, just the one mistake of clicking too fast. That's the only thing I feel like I really didn't do wrong. Or I did do wrong. So yeah, that was a super boring backtesting session. I'm sorry. Maybe it was valuable in learning something and like backtesting and reading price, but I don't know. Maybe I won't post it because that's pretty boring. I don't know. I'll think about it.